How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty flat. Actually,
Yeah.
I haven't improved much from last night. At the 8-minute mark, Vossi, calling a game at Fox Sports, I want to just put the headsets down and say, you know what? After you send him off, Klein, why don't you just blow full time and say, that's it. That'll do us.
Right.
Well, that's how I felt. No,
well,
that's exactly how I felt. Originally, when he hit it, when they first showed the tackle, because I followed the play, I saw someone go down in back play, and I followed Hammer, who then, was taking on James Tedesco after being too quick for our outside men. And when I first saw the replay, I thought, oh my God! And then I then I had a look at Joseph Swali as he came into the tackle. He just bent his back to make a regulation tackle, and Reece Walsh dropped 12 inches. So I thought, surely he can bin him. Then as I had a look at another replay, I'm thinking, well, I think he's going to send him off. And he did. It happened very quickly. There wasn't too much chat. He just pulled him over and off he goes after 8 minutes. I'm thinking, that's game over.
Yeah. 130th Origin last night, only the 6th send-off. That's a lot of minutes of rugby league, just the 6th send-off. Of course, SEN had coverage all night last night. The Maroons call, the Neutral call, the Blues call. How did the Blues call handle the send-off? Let's have a listen right now.
Reece Walsh still down in back play. Off! He's been sent off! Joseph Swaliti has been sent off. It's State of Origin number 1. 7.5 minutes gone in the first half. Swaliti has been sent.
So the league will back the sending off of Joseph Swaliti. The league, the NRL won't come out and say, no, we got that wrong. And there has been something. Joseph Swaliti came out of the line at speed, as you do. We were chatting yesterday about how to stop Reece Walsh, and what are the important things defensively. Well, you have to get to him before he does anything, and that's what Swaliti was trying to do. There wasn't any malice. There was no intent, but the circumstances and how they've dealt with those tackles this year are, you come out of the line, the onus is on you to get it right, no matter what.
I'll say this, there's no way Ash Klein wanted to send off last night. Can I add that perspective to it? There's no way the referee wanted 13 on 12. But can I say this first of all, and this is really unpopular opinion. So first of all, I have still not, now this sounds odd. You may say you have. I haven't seen a replay where I can say, okay, that's the point of his shoulder on his chin. I've seen the whiplash effect. The whiplash effect is so dramatic that basically, basic physics, the reason you get the whiplash effect is because you're hitting upper body, you're hitting chest, and that gives concussion. Now, concussion data will tell you that in a quarter of cases there is no head contact. So are we convinced that the point of the... I know he's been charged, so they've obviously got an angle that shows shoulder has hit him flush in the head. Did it?
Right.
Did it hit him flush?
Yeah.
Did it?
It did, yeah.
It did?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I didn't want it to. I desperately didn't want it to.
But which angle did you see that?
Well, I don't know. How many?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
I can't remember.
I'm just saying. You have a clear freeze frame. You see the jaw go back, bang. I see the body go back.
We've got some text. We've got some text here, and I don't know if you, but like, how intently did you watch that? Did you see his eyes were? He was gone. Knocked.
Yeah, he was gone.
He was
That's
out.
Right. Yep.
He was out before he hit the ground.
Yeah, and a quarter of concussions. There is
so
no
I
head
said
contact.
last night. I think Warren Smith, who called the game, said, well, it's a send off in the NRL, and I said, well, this isn't NRL. This is State of Origin. I said, I only chatted to Bill Harrigan last week. On the back page. I was on the back this week, Tuesday night. I'm losing track of days. Tuesday night on the back page, we interviewed Bill Harrigan. And I said, Bill, everyone regarded you as the best referee in Origin. Did you go in with a different mindset? Did you go in with this isn't NRL, this is Origin. I'm going to control it differently. And he said 100%. He said 100%. He 100%.
There's not much doubt about that.
Well, he doubled down on what everyone has thought.
That is back
no
in
one
the day.
admits.
That's back in the day.
Back in the day.
When
Andrew,
we
I
say
will
that's
say
a send-off in the NRL, is it a send-off in the NRL? It's not every time. It's not every time a send-off in the NRL. Taylor May. Well, is it? Is it a send-off every time in the NRL? You can say it.
No. I think that tackle would be a send-off in the NRL every time. Yeah, that tackle. But, see, and again, I'm think my view of the game is, and whether, people want to call you a dinosaur and, we've moved on. But my view of a send-off is that there is no mitigating circumstances and there is intent.
That's fair.
Now,
That's a fair little guideline. That's a good guideline.
Well, I think there was a lack of. There was certainly. I didn't think there was any intent, and I think there was mitigating circumstances.
Wow.
So, but that's my. Well, there was. How much did Reece Walsh drop when he passed the ball?
I'm just trying to think of the intent, but no, the intent is to smash him.
Well, the intent is to smash him.
So if you get him in the head, then that's
no. If he had
got intent to smash someone in the head other than a punch.
Andrew, if he had intent, he doesn't bend his back. He just runs into him.
Yeah,
he runs in high with the arm out. That's intent.
Yeah, sure.
And I heard one of our calls said shoulder charge. Who said that? What? Who was that on our call that said shoulder charge?
Yes, no.
No,
there is more to the game to the send-off, but that is obviously focal point because from there, no one's winning an Origin game. Can I say that though?
Correct.
And then New South Wales went into shock, and Queensland went into overdrive, and by the 24th minute, it's 20 points to 6. Minute by minute, it is then for the next 43 minutes, the 12-man Blues kept Queensland scoreless. That was quite remarkable. 43 minutes of an Origin game, albeit with a halftime break in the middle, so not a continuous 43, but a block of 43 minutes before Queensland scored again with a one-man advantage. So that's the positive New South Wales have to take out of it. Now, let's go to the negatives. This is what Origin analysis is. New South Wales kicking game was putrid. It was awful. Nico Hines, sorry, someone's going to have to test the strength of his leg. They are the smallest bombs. I've got to be honest. They're the least threatening bombs I think I've ever seen in a big game. No one in the competition is putting up little bombs that don't come down short of the line. It was not. They were chip kicks. What was that about? I know we got the Lomax try. New South Wales got the one Lomax try in the corner from one well placed.
He got that right. But
that's
the
one
kicks
out of
early
20.
in the game. Yeah, the kicks early in the game. The first one that went dead led to a Queensland try. The next half a dozen, Vossi, and talking to Charlie this morning, we spent a lot more time inside the 20 than Queensland did in that first half, even though we trailed 20 to 6. I think Queensland had 3 tackles inside the 20. We had 25. So we were down there on play 5, I think, half a dozen times. And name me one good kick in that first half.
Well, I can't.
No, there
I can't name a one.
No.
But you have to help me out here, Brandy, as a former playmaker, a bloke who would put the ball in the air. I'm talking about the height of bombs. I'd never seen such a timid, such an unthreatened. It made no sense to me. I didn't understand what was going on. It was like, I just want to dab this over. I don't want to be even put myself at a chance where it could come off the side of my boot a little. There was none of them. It was bizarre, Brandy. How did that happen?
Yeah, it was. And if we, down to 12 men, if you needed things to be just about perfect, and we were far from it, and our execution struggled. But then, 12. I'm just talking with the ball.
Yeah.
With the ball,
but
at
Nico
times
cops the heat for that, doesn't he?
Well, he's the halfback.
Yeah.
Andrew, he's the halfback. He's the one that does. He's in control. It's his team. If you're the halfback, it's your team, and the kicking game just wasn't up to scratch. When you got Swaliti and Lomax and Crichton in your side, you need to be putting the ball on the try line. No further out
where it comes
no
down.
further out than 2 or 3 metres, so they can catch the ball and score a try. We needed things to be pretty special in that department, and they were a long way from it.
Okay, so let's tick off a few things. Yes, it's a send-off. via NRL rules, it's a send-off. We agree on that, and that's open to debate on the text line, the open line. We're agreeing, Brandy. It's a send-off via NRL rules.
Yep.
2, New South Wales kicking game, dead set, wouldn't get a bid on eBay. It was poor. It was massive. So there's two big components of the game. Two big components of the game. Now, elsewhere in the game, would you say Queensland had more speed? Did they dominate out of dummy half? I mean, Reece Robson worked his ass off, but would you say more threatening Queensland out of dummy half? Pick out another area of play where you felt Queensland was definitely better than New South Wales, and New South Wales will need to address it before game 2.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think that the dummy half play was. It was better than ours, but Andrew, you got to keep coming back to, well, it's 12 men. Like your line's short and your edge defence is under pressure. Crichton moving to the right fixed a whole lot of problems that they were having down that side of the field. I don't know really where else. A lot of people wanted to talk about the fact that Jake Trbojevic didn't spend much time on the field after his opening session. But see, a game like that, where you need speed because you're a man down, Jake doesn't suit it. Jake doesn't suit it. I thought the players that made their debuts were strong. Lomax was outstanding. Lomax put his hand up a lot of times to carry that ball. So I don't know. Well, I'll leave it open to our family.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. The family. That's right. The dysfunctional family. But on Trbojevic, the captain of New South Wales, I hate to say I told you so, but I did say, like, they made a rod for their back by giving Jake the captain. See, Jake doesn't need the C next to his name to be the leader and the captain. But now that you made him the captain, this was always going to happen. I think even with the 13 on 13, he's not playing a lot of minutes. So that was always going to be a discussion topic. It's not a win or lose on the game. It's not a game changer. But it was always going to be a discussion topic. And now it becomes a big topic because they lose, and it's so little minutes. Like, it's a long time off the field. The captain just sitting there on the sideline watching. There's no way he can turn the course of
but you needed fast legs. You needed speed out there, and the bench was speed. Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, Hamoli Olakawatu, young, quick legs.
Yeah. All right. So just on the send-off, one last one before we throw it over to you guys. And we've got a whole heap of audio, more to play, Maguire on the send-off, all those sorts of things. So who actually fights it? Just from you having been in that position before, if you have had a player. So did New South Wales go, bang, here you go, Roosters? You decide whether he's guilty or innocent?
Oh, well, I'm sure there's
You know what I'm
consultation.
saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. I can't remember. Who was the last player sent off? Like, when 6 players in the history of the game, when was the last player sent off?
I'm trying to think.
Can someone find that out?
Not Gordon, is it?
I don't know.
Through them.
So
Craig Greenhill, he was sent off, wasn't he? Craig Greenhill, wasn't he the first? Was Craig Greenhill
to be
sent off? Gordon Tallis. Then we had the fight. Remember the Big Blue, the fight where Steve Price was fighting. So Trent Waterhouse, he was sent off, wasn't he? Anyway, we'll go through that. That's not the most important issue. Trying to come up with the 5 previous send-offs, but there's
just the last one. Just the last
one. Wow. All right, let's go. Panther Pete's on the Great Southern Bank open line, 1300 01 1170. He gets the opportunity to open the batting. Brandy, say good day to Panther Pete.
Pete, go ahead.
Morning, Brandy. Good morning, Andrew. A game and a series ruined by a nervous referee, while our best referee sitting at home having a nice cup of tea with his slippers on. That's number one. Number two, Nico, I love him as a player. But he's not up to it. And while he's the halfback for Cronulla, they will continue not to win a finals game. And it was evident when Penrith put it through him the other day. Like him as a player, he's not up to that. All the best. Have a great day, boys. Bye now.
Good on you, Pete. Good on you, Pete. Andrew, answer me this.
Yep.
Would that decision have changed with a different referee on the field today? We're talking NRL.
I've got to say no. Well, I have to say no. If the bunker told the referee, the bunker has to play part. If the bunker said there is forceful, direct contact to the head, then Adam G would be sending him off. If that was the instruction that came through from the bunker. He's sending him
That's
off.
right.
He's not doing sin bin. He's doing send off.
So my idea of a send off doesn't live in the current world.
No.
It was a send off. In the NRL, it's a send off, and I know it's Origin, and I know it's not, and they referee differently, but it was a send off.
By the way, how bad was the anthem? I was just looking at my notes and I had down the anthem. Like, who gives it a license? Like, just sing the anthem. Stick your guitar up your chaminda and just sing the anthem so we can all sing along with it.
You get worried about the strangest things.
I was just going back through my notes. I was just going back through my notes from the moment I said anthem.
I thought you put down the anthem got 2 Dally M points.
No,
Nico
minus.
got 1.
It was minus 2.
2.
No, it was minus, not 2. It was minus points I was giving out last night. Billy Slater in-game interview, first half. Oh, how bad. How awkward was that?
Did we say that? Did we? We've spoken about this.
It was awful. It was awful. It just was he didn't want to talk. He was give his opinion on the send-off. Like, man, that was bad. That was bad.
We had many people agree with that on the text line. Everyone spoke about the mid-game interview with the coach it's a killer.
All right. As I said, we've got a heap of audio to send, but one thing, back on the send-off, one thing did happen, and it's sort of a little funny, the image of Gerbo, the image of Jake when it said to send off for good, his reaction to it was priceless. Here is Jake talking after the match about the send-off. No? No, he's not. Okay, so we'll leave that one to the side. We've got heaps of here it is, Jake talking about the send-off.
Oh, yeah, it was a tough one. Yeah, I didn't expect him to get sent off, for being honest, just probably because of the enormity of the game. But that's the way it went, you know. It was tough, but as Matt said, there was periods of the game we were to take a lot of confidence from. There, probably the first 20 minutes of the second half, I thought we were on top, you know, with 12 men. So got to give a lot of credit to the lads. They worked really hard, and we put ourselves in a position there to be in a puncher's chance at the back end, which was nice.
Oh yeah, which is nice. Put a brave face there.
Well, that's right. What else can you say? What else can you say?
Exactly right.
There's not much else to say.
All right. On the send-off, people are saying, just one text, 543 says, off, in capital letters and 3 exclamation marks. Decision changes with no ref in the world, that's off. 543 says. 543. Adamant
Andrew,
send-off.
Did you think it was a send-off? Or were you still in two minds? Because you can't be in two minds about a send-off. You either
it's sin bin or send-off.
Especially in an Origin
I think
game.
that's the only issue. It was sin bin or send-off.
Which one was it?
The drama of Reece Walsh on the ground. Well, that's why I was waiting for absolute definitive replay that shows me bang, shoulder in the head, or has he given him the whiplash tackle? I was just being honest about that. I'm not sitting at home with I'm out at the ground, so I'm not sitting at home with the television right in front of my legs. I'm just, trying to analyse. I just wanted that freeze frame shot, bang, there it is on the point of his chin. But I saw the reaction from behind, and that is a whiplash response. How does he get concussed if it doesn't touch the head? Well, 25% of concussions have no contact with the head. So, that's like, what's the, if you want to know, a rugby league force tackle is like being hit by a car at 60 k's an hour. So it's a brutal game. It's a brutal game when they smash you. Yes, sin bin, definitely. Send off. I'm sitting at about 75%.
Yeah,
75% send off.
Yep.
25% no send off.
Okay.
That's where that's where I've landed.
Remember, no one has been involved in more State of Origin games than Mal. Text line 0457 736 736. Live from the Toolkit Depot in Fishwick. And by the way, he's also the Kangaroos coach. What were your overall thoughts on the game? Let's start with the obvious one. Did Joseph Suaalii deserve to be sent from the field?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, I thought it was a send-off offence. As soon as it happened, I felt that immediately that they'll send him off. And, yeah, it was just unfortunate situation like it is in any send-off or any sin binning, So it's never intentional, but that was clearly connection with the head, with force, lost a player. Walsh obviously got HIA Category 1, so he can't play this week, and he couldn't take any further part in the game. So, yes, it was a send-off, but it makes you think, though, about the 18th man again, whether – I know that it's argumentable that, if you get someone sent off and obviously the player that got the HIA had to leave the field as well, but
yes.
13 on 12 at Origin level, it's not really a fair game, in my opinion. It's hard enough at NRL level, but certainly in Origin level, it is a you're more or less. If you have to play really well, control the ball, don't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
The other team has to make heaps of mistakes just to even have a chance. And I thought, even the second half was really good by the Blues when they came out after half time.
Yes.
That 20 minutes was fantastic. But is there something we might better have a think about with the 18th man when someone does get sent off? I'm not quite sure because it does make it unfair.
Well, as far as the laws of the game being applied, I think you're exactly right. I looked at that, and as a New South Wales supporter, I tried to find a way that Joseph Suaalii would not be sent from the field, maybe 10 minutes in the sin bin. I couldn't find it. And this is even before Reece Walsh is ruled out of the game, a key player, not that should be any sort of determining factor.
That's never the determining factor, but
No.
I mean, 30 on 12, like I said, in the NRL is difficult, but for 73 minutes trying to defend against one of the best rugby league sides in the world, it is a difficult task, and it was all downhill from there really for the Blues.
So now he's got a reckless high tackle, grade 2. I thought reckless was strong. Anyway, 4 matches for the hit there for Joseph Akuso Suaalii. He's already come out and said that he apologised for it and all of that sort of thing, which we expect. We've heard from Reece Walsh today too, so we might play that a little bit later on during the course of the program. But Daly Cherry Evans won his second Man of the Match award. His first one he won in Game 1 in Adelaide in 2020, where you were involved in the side. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow was extraordinary in some of the things he did. Who were your best players on the field, Mel?
I thought Cherry Evans was really good, and for the fact that he led the side really well. Obviously the Blues are down to 12. You can get sort of in front of yourself. You can look at space. There's space everywhere, and you try to play to space all the time. But he kept the team in check. His kicking game was excellent. He was kicking on fourth. He was kicking out dummy half. He was leading the fray. So he ran the ball really well. Defensively, he was really good. So He was a great leader on the night and played the conditions and played to the way Queensland needed to play to win that footy game. So he was outstanding.
Yeah, I want to ask you this, and we don't know with Nathan Cleary, but if you had to pick a side now, and I know you don't, but who's your captain of Australia, Mel?
It's a very good point. I couldn't give you an exact answer at the moment. Obviously, I thought Teddy was great again last night. Given an opportunity, he was really, really good. And I thought Isaiah made a really good impact when he came off the bench as well. And Darley was excellent. Nathan Cleary's obviously not playing at the moment, but I feel that DCE could play 6 anyway. So I mean, there's plenty of options for the Australian team with great leadership. Most captains of the clubs in the NRL, representative players. So any number of players could actually lead their country. And Teddy's the incumbent at the moment. We're interested to see how New South Wales selectors react to that performance. But you can't doubt the effort that went into the Blues and the way they played. And I was really impressed. And I was being obviously Queenslander, and I sit on the Queensland side of the fence when it comes to Origin. I was worried, that first 20 minutes of that second half. I thought the Blues are coming home. Yep. They were camped, deeply in Maroon's territory. Maroons are coming up with errors off their line. They just seemingly just hanging on. So, anything could have happened. But again, it comes back to what we said before is 12 men against 13 is very difficult.
Yeah, I think if you're Michael Maguire and you've got your squad ready to go into Game 2 at Melbourne, you can paint a really good story about what you guys, what New South Wales were able to nearly achieve with 12 men in Game 1. Before we get to... Oh, yeah, sorry, Mel.
Can I just say one thing? I wouldn't be changing the side, honestly. I mean, obviously there's some decisions to be made around Teddy and Dylan Edwards, but I wouldn't be changing the side. The mere fact that they've built those combinations, they've built a team environment, off the back of game one, and their effort was tremendous. You could tell they were prepared really well.
Yep.
With their attitude,
Yep.
So why do you have to change the makeup of the footy team when you've already spent a good part of a couple of weeks, putting it all together?
Yeah. I want to ask you this one. Nico Hines, we're getting text messages already, but if Mitchell Moses comes back, he's been there before. You might have just said it then. Dylan Edwards, if he comes back, you're sticking solid. Latrell Mitchell is an option in the centres. You're sticking solid with the 16 that you've got.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously Joseph won't be there, so you got to pick another centre, and Latrell's one of the best. If he's playing, obviously at the same time, I thought Crichton, when he moved across the right side, was very effective defensively. He's an outstanding defensive centre. So I mean, that'll be the only change I'd make. Geez, that was Nico's first game, and he's playing behind a forward pack that was going backwards. Against a great Queensland pack, and then he's playing a team with 12 men. I mean, To be a casualty of that type of performance, I think is really harsh. And like I said before, I feel that you got to give them an opportunity with 13 men on the footy field and to see how they go. But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be speculations, always with opinions. Nico didn't have his best game. There's no doubt about that. And Mitchell's back, playing really well. The Eels won last weekend, fairly convincingly with him. But again, it's been in this camp situation. They've talked about being together. They've talked about being a team. They've talked about putting that effort in. And the only thing that I seen that was detrimental to their performance is 12 men.
Yeah. And if you, in fairness to Nico, he had the guy that was going to be playing outside of him in Joseph Suaalii leave the field, and then all of a sudden you've got Stephen Crichton come onto the other side, and I'm sure they would have trained there, but then you're one short on the other side because Angus Crichton. So it's completely different to what they prepared for during the course of the week. It was different to what Billy Slater thought he was going to see as well, Mal, and yet...
But I agree. But I agree with Billy. I think, and Freddie minted on the coverage last night and said something really profound after the game as well, where because of the advent of the HIA and the 6 again, I just think you need to carry an outside back on your bench, particularly in the big games. And Billy got it right, and the selectors got it right, So there's been a lot of injuries to outside backs, HIAs, leaving the field in Origin in particular. So, I think you need to have an outside back in your footy team. And Freddie mentioned that prior to the game, but after the game he said he'd prefer to have a centre on the bench moving into the forwards from a defensive point of view than an edge back row going out and playing in the centres where he's not used to, because the centre is one of the hardest positions to defend in. So that makes enormous sense in the modern game, where a centre who sits on the bench can actually go into the forwards and make a bit of impact. But if someone goes down, out wide, well, that back can actually go and then fill in there very capably, as opposed to an edge back row going out and filling in.
Well, it's the worst possible scenario, isn't it? So we're all thinking, if a centre gets injured, you can then put Hudson Young there and all that sort of thing, and he's been training in the centres. It was worse than that. You're actually one player short, and you're asking a back rower to go and do that. So that was compounded by that. Paul Vaughton came out and said he couldn't understand the selection of Selwyn Cobbo. So that was rare that Queenslanders were not quite all on the same page, Mal. But in the end, I think Billy's comment after the game was we expected the unexpected and we got the unexpected.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Origin is all about as well, So, but again, I go back to my last comment, as I feel that the way the modern game is going, and with, like I said, with the advent of the HIA and the sin binning and the 6 again, I think you need to carry an outside back on your bench. I firmly believe that. I mean, the unusual part about Queensland's bench was that they carried a hooker as well.
Yeah.
So we got 2 front rows, but Benny Hunt can play in the middle. He's done that many times and experienced enough, and he was one of our better players as well. The Maroons' better players as well. So, Yeah, it's always up to opinions, but I just think the modern game now needs an outside back, whether they carry an extra, hooker on the bench, but there's versatility in the side anyway, and those two middle guys did a terrific job when they come on. So yeah, I think that's the way to go going forward, and Billy just outthought obviously the selectors on the New South Wales side.
Can I just make a point of referencing Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, right? He scored 3 tries. He probably bombed another one with Tommy Dearden inside him in that first half. Now, do you realise he has now scored 8 tries in 5 Origin games? The thing that blew me away, Mal, was the pass to Murray Taulagi when he was going to be pushed back into the in-goal area. Not only the awareness of it, the fact that he was prepared to throw it, and then 3 tackles later, Ben Hunt scores, in many ways, the match-sealing try. I thought there were so many great moments from Hamiso.
Hamiso, a try saver.
Yes.
Lenu, so in the first half as well, he saved a try there. That's his position. He plays fullback. So again, it's the way that the game panned out, obviously, with Reece leaving early. That suited Hamiso. He prefers to play fullback. He plays that every week, and he's just playing with so much confidence. He's always been a confidence player, and he always plays with a smile on his face because he loves the game. And that's him, that's his skill levels. He's got the confidence and the ability to throw to Murray. They've played together at the Cowboys, so there's a lot of faith and trust amongst those two guys as well. So that's what happens. Those moments do win Origin games, and those moments win big games.
Yeah, we have got so many text messages coming in. So what we're going to do is get ourselves to a break. First of all,